Oh, hello. Is this Tino Vitale?
That's him.
Yes. Hello, Tino. My name is Elliot Ikilei. I'm with the Daily Examiner. I was wondering if I could ask you a quick few questions about some Tokelau things.
So, where are you representing?
So I'm with the Daily Examiner, an organisation in New Zealand.
Okay.
So I just had a couple of quick questions relating to COVID in Tokelau and also the home isolations. We've been hearing just a few things going on, and the people of New Zealand have just been asking what's sort of going over there, especially considering they are New Zealand citizens. So I was wondering, is there any COVID over in Tokelau at the moment?
Any positive cases?
Yes, any positive cases?
No, there aren't, but there are ongoing preventative measures that put in place because we do have projects that we have, engineers, essential workers coming from Britain, US, some of the countries that do have COVID.
Right.
So there are those kind of protections, and we also have sailings from Samoa, who currently has an outbreak since March. We have fortnightly vessels. So our preventative continues on a daily basis because of those risks.
Yep. Right.
But no positive.
No positive cases. So those who are coming from other nations such as Samoa, Britain, and the like, do they have to go through a quarantine process, or what are the processes for them?
Very strict. Their process is when they come on a contactless basis. When they come, they quarantine for 21 days on Tokelau. Yeah, so, and they do the normal requirements before they enter Tokelau, like the 72 hours, now 48 hours PCR test before they come, the 24-hour red test before they board. They must be vaccinated, otherwise you won't get free. The normal requirements that are being operated by other countries.
Right, that makes sense. Yes, no, I understand that. Now, in terms of fully vaccinated, are you referring to the double vaccinated, or is that the double vaccinated plus booster, which is the generally regarded one in New Zealand?
Yeah, the double. We do encourage boosters, but the requirement is first dose, second dose,
right?
The approved
right
vaccination.
Got it.
Sorry, by Dr. John.
Okay, nice one. And in terms of some of the people we've heard, so we've had reports now of several families who've had to home isolate. The original word in my understanding was house arrest. Now, is that for any concerns around them being infected, or is that due to not desiring to take the Pfizer vaccination?
Wrong person. I think you need to talk to the office of the Tapulengas because it is the mandate within the Tapulenga jurisdiction, and as far as our rules or structures of government is concerned. So I can't talk in detail, but I am aware that there are people in that category, but I don't have all the details.
Right, so that's an interesting part. We know that Tokelau is under New Zealand administration, and that Mr. Ross Ardern has recently resigned from that position. So in terms of that, the Taupulenga take on a sort of a self-governance underneath the New Zealand administration. Am I getting that correct? Is that how the line of hierarchy goes?
Yeah, I think there has been some very misinformed information about Ross Ardern because, as you may not know, the powers of the administrator was delegated to the three Tapulengas in 2004. So from there, Tokelau works, that's the highest authority on Tokelau, and they make their bylaws. We also they then delegate the power of lawmaking to the General Whanau. So it's pretty much self-autonomous, and administrator would only use veto power if he thinks that it's not aligned with certain things and all that. So most of the decisions are actually Taupulenga or the General Whanau.
Got it.
Because the Taupulenga, under the delegation that was of the powers of the administrator to the Taupulenga then redelegated some of the administrative, governments, telecommunications, health, education, all the big portfolios back to the General Whanau. That's why you've got a council of ongoing government who sit as the executive body of Tokelau when the General Whanau is not in session. But mainly it's at the Taupulenga level.
Right.
So, in a lot of the things that Ross has been trying to do, he has actually been meeting with the Taupulenga and trying to get them to change their mind on their regime. The penalty that's been given to those who did not vaccinate. So I think there's been some real hard criticism of Ross, but his role has actually been trying to get the Taupulenga to actually change. In fact, that Friday when he had that meeting with the Taupulenga, he provided a very a very cultural, spiritual briefing for the Taupulenga, and I'm not sure whether that was because it was that Friday's meeting that our Tafu changed their mind. There was another meeting that was supposed to be set up with the Nukunanga Taupulenga, but unfortunately his time for his term has actually left, and he's now retired. So he didn't really resign because of that. It was we knew that his term was going to be 4 years, and then but it just it was extended a few months because they did not, New Zealand had not come out with a new administrator. So I feel sorry for him and his mother, for his daughter, because I think that the decisions were literally Tokelau's decision under those powers, under the new government power. But I suppose that's the trade of public service. You take all the flicks for the things that people are unhappy about.
No, I can understand that. Yeah, no, thank you for that. That helps to clarify quite a lot of what our audience have been asking about. Now I know that this question I'll be giving this to the Taupulenga themselves, but because constitutionally those citizens under home isolation are New Zealand citizens, therefore they come under the New Zealand Bill of Rights. And is that of any concern, whether to yourself or to the Taupulenga? And of course, I understand you wouldn't be able to speak for them, but is there a concern around that, especially for those guys who were up to 9 months under house arrest / home isolation? Was that a concern at all?
Yeah, just a clarification on the Bill of Rights. The legal opinion that Tokelau received, the Bill of Rights, New Zealand Bill of Rights law, does not actually apply to Tokelau. As I mentioned earlier, Tokelau has now got law-making powers, which is the General Whanau. So they make the rules. And the Constitution is also of Tokelau. That's also provide a perspective from a Tokelau angle on human rights as well. And if you have a copy of the Constitution, if you read 16 bracket 2, it does actually, your human rights is actually grounded on the human rights of others, being a small community and things like that. Everybody sort of try and bring them under the same rock, so to speak. So those are just some of the technical things that I think is misrepresented out there or misinformed out there. And that's why I feel sorry for New Zealand, because a lot of our decisions, our lawmakings, the things we do, we hardly use New Zealand. New Zealand, even our statement to the UN, we presented 3 days ago on Monday. even that's been drafted by Tokelau. Tokelau makes that. And it could be, things that they're not happy with New Zealand. It could be things that are going smoothly in New Zealand, but we have to be honest with the UN Committee of 24 on the question of decolonization committee.
Right.
Yeah, so those are just some of the technical things that I think is really important for people to understand.
Yeah.
The reason why things get a little tricky in Tokelau. And of course, the isolation does not help as well.
Yeah, I think it's really good. So you're actually giving a lot of good clarity to that whole relationship and into what's been going on over there. I just have one final question, and that would be, and again, I know that this is something which may be. my last one would be, if Tokelau has no COVID, and this is happening to the internal citizens of Tokelau, the Tokelau people themselves, who are unable to have COVID simply because they are in the nation at the moment. What would the reasoning be around putting them under house isolation if there is no chance that they could actually have COVID itself?
Well, I hope so, and we keep praying every day that we don't get COVID into Tokelau. But our protections are basically, as I said, we have weekly boats coming. We have essential workers coming from, contractors, because we can't really sort of stop our development. We shouldn't be using COVID as an excuse to not do that. So I think that's a huge risk. But the elders, very different perspective of COVID. And that's why, a lot of the restrictions are very on the extreme side. It's that nervousness. And I think it's because, these are elders who actually grew up in Tokelau. Some of them may only been outside a few times. So, with the availability of TV, not all families can afford a Sky TV. So it's only the people who can actually afford it. So slowly, I think the information, they will get a better understanding of some of these trends, and hopefully that will help them also make quality decisions. Our place is actually trying, like our national plans that I'm involved with in actually putting up our restrictions. They normally put extra caution on it. If we say quarantine for 7 days, they will put another 14 days on it. And that's really challenging. But we don't dispute, because that is the way they understand COVID. But on our national plans, we just do it based on the science, based on the new knowledge that actually comes into Tokelau. With a bit of info, because we travel around, meet with the local COVID committee, and of course they bring through a perspective from the villages, the elders, the people themselves. So that formalized the advice on the preventive measures that Tokelau runs. And from a health perspective too, remember Tokelau is very isolated. It has not many doctors, not many nurses, and if they do, they're not all qualified. And if they're close to qualified, their qualification was some years long ago. They haven't been to refresh it. So I think that all needs to be put in perspective. The risks and the way that actually Tokelau views things. So it's a completely different game here. We try at a national level to take in the new knowledge and the science and things like that. But, villages do their own thing. And that's just to provide extra buffer for themselves, for their confidence, in villages. And we respect that. We don't try and enforce the national thing, because at the end of the day, they are the people. If something goes wrong, then they make the decision, not us advisors who push it through.
Got it. Oh, look, thank you so much, Tino. Thank you for all of that. I really am grateful for your time. I really do appreciate you speaking to me today. Thank you so much.
Okay. All right.
Thank you, mate.
Have a nice day. Have a nice weekend.
Bye-bye.